remember that they are changing my voice. Point number one, it is stupid to use an individual cultural scale instead of a universal scale. For example, this female right here, no offense to her, could argue that because she is portrayed as arrogant, okay, it says what it says right here, arrogant woman humiliates migrant waitress, that magically she's winning, but she's not. How is she winning? She says, how dare you talk to me? And it suggests that she's important and that she believes that she's winning and the migrant waitress is losing. Now, there's a lot of reasons he's wrong. First of all, if you're my age, around 40 or so, would you rather date her, say she's about 55, 60, or would you rather date her, let's say she's about 20, 22? You'd rather date her. One could argue it should be the other way around. Is how dare she, without getting herself together and being just and talk to somebody who's an attractive young waitress. So they're not using a logical scale. Now going up to here, right? Imagine this guy using a scale. No offense to this guy, but if this guy said, hey, you don't look like him, or you don't listen to his music, or you don't act like him, so magically he's winning and you're losing. You'd say, hey, that's crazy. And so it is with everyone in this picture, including these people. That's a story for another day. We'll keep it simple for now. Here we have the introduction to Greek theater. These people could argue that they're winning because they're acting like that. But that's crazy. That's an individual culture. It's just theater. Many people do theater. Even little kids do theater. It's neither here nor there. This person could argue that he's winning because he's taken this female into slavery. Okay, if he would have got himself together, worked out and got into shape, used his head, he could have a much more fulfilling life. Being arrogant is not superior to being righteous and having mental clarity. He's not thinking straight. He's like, oh, I'm rich, I'm important, yes, oh, this is working for me, this is a great idea. But he's part of a disgraceful legacy that really embarrasses him and his family. And it's really, when you look back at it, you see it's not worthwhile. So when I look back at my life, I see that I made sound decisions. And I'm glad that I'm not anyone else in these pictures, even the nicer seeming people. Even her, certainly because I'm a male, right? Even richer people like them or richer people like them. You know, these people are very, they're billionaires. And I'm glad that I'm not them. Because I live a righteous life. And every moment that has gone by, like the last couple minutes in this video, have been a righteous life of pointing to the right thing. I stack it on again and again. I've been saying this for years and years. I stack on righteousness on top of righteousness on top of righteousness. When I made my Illuminati Part 1 video back in 2009, where I was talking about the Illuminati in a factual way, in a way that is clearly true, not crazy aliens or something, but actual truth. The history of that Enlightenment era society and how the evidence shows us that these philosophies and that way of thinking in a kind of feudal way, in a kind of behind the scenes feudal society, secret society sort of way, still exists. I've been vindicated a million times over. My point has been proven a million times over. The tech sector expanded as I predicted. Cultures continued to on a downward spiral as I predicted, all using the factual evidence. I said, okay, I'm the top martial artist ever. No one's going to be able to beat me. People tried. They couldn't beat me. I was right. I said, you need to rally to me or trouble's going to come. I even put it in songs. I said, if you leave these quote-unquote dogs in charge, that we're headed for disaster faster than you would think. And major disasters occurred, like the coronavirus, a short time after making that song. Said you're headed to these disasters that we could otherwise avoid. We saw the destruction of culture in an irreversible way. The rise of transhumanism in an irreversible way. We've seen genes altered. We've seen generational cognitive damage. We've seen people relying on their oppressor more than ever. Everything that I predicted, which is consistent with the behavior of behind the scenes manipulation. That is the behavior we expect to see. When we say, okay, it's consistent with the idea that they're manipulating us behind the scenes, and that's behavior that we expect to see. I predicted that they would try to sabotage me, and they would try to cripple me, and they would try every dirty trick in the book because they could not beat me at sparring, which means they couldn't beat me at mentally sparring, because the brain and body are connected. Mind, body, soul, and spirit. I predicted that people wouldn't obey God through me. I predicted that they would continue to treat me unfairly. I predicted they wouldn't compensate me. I predicted thing after thing, where if this world had a speck of sanity, that I wouldn't have been able to be right about these things. They would have seen this situation, say, this guy's a brain surgeon's son, he's a humanitarian son, let's order this off. They didn't do that. So this community would have came together and said, I see what's going on here. We're not going to sit here and do nothing. They didn't do that. I predicted that because I know people. I know how things work. I know what's going on here. And I have the optimum top martial arts response. Unlike all these people, no offense to them, they may as well all have this look in their eyes because they do not know what they're doing. How many of you would teach your kids that this guy knows what he's doing? Or this family is responsible for the massacre of countless people, right? According to this thing right here, they killed 500,000 people, made billions of dollars. As they look back in their life, before they know it, they're older than this guy. What do they see? Do they see the most masterful moves of anybody in history? No. Okay, if they were to look at it from a high level and see everything that's going on, they would see the top martial artists ever using their family as an example of what not to do. That's not exactly victory. And it could be any of the rich families I put here. This one happened to just fit perfectly. No offense to these people, it happened to fit this case perfectly. My argument's perfectly. Because they sell, I believe, is Oxycontin. Okay, and all this prescription pills. I warned people back in 2012. I said, this is killing people. When almost nobody was talking about it, I said, this is killing people. We need to get on top of this as a society. It connects to psychiatry. We've seen that happen. We've seen these mass shootings happen, and it connects to the abuse of psychiatry. All this money, psychiatrists given a blank check. And what came of it? Waves of mass shooters. I said, the problem is they do not define things correctly. And it comes out a lot of these mass shooters were on psych meds. I said, that's not the solution. No matter how you slice it. Even if these psych meds work a little bit, to some degree they do, that's not the solution. The way you're proceeding is ineffective. And it's illogical and it's oppressive. And a lot of these reasons these people don't take their psych meds, it has to do with culture, has to do with oppression, has to do with them rejecting Big Pharma's agenda, rejecting the mental health oligarchs' agenda. I was right time and time again. I said the problem is cultural. They took down videos, said you can't say that. Then after they said that, people came out openly. Lil Wayne came out saying that these hoes love him like the devil. These people, this Banks video, the devil, Satan imagery everywhere. Sexual sodomy is at an all-time high. The occult at an all-time high. I warned of these things. Where everyone else was saying, put on your tinfoil hat, man, or they're controlled opposition, like Alex Jones. I told the truth, the way, the truth, and the life, the way to have a respectable life, the way to be the wise builder. See, victories and success are based on principle. True success. You could be the richest person in the world, but what did you use your money for? And what did you do with it? What did you do with your life? You went to the border and mocked immigrants and said, close the border? So they could go back the way they came and get raped on the way back too? Imagine the disgrace of any decent family members that people who think that you should shut the border are feeling as they look down at this situation from the afterlife. Imagine the pure disgrace. They said it's 2023, their offspring still didn't shake their despicable and repugnant philosophies that have been holding down mankind from the start. The mark of the beast. The mark of selfishness, feelings over wisdom. Could they then turn around and argue that it was their ancestors that brought humanity to a higher state of understanding? No. They were the people saying that people should remain primates. It was my ancestors saying, stop being illogical, use wisdom, and be civilized. And true civilization is moral civilization. Not just building things, even beavers build things. Beavers build things and they're still dumb as a beaver. It was martial art principles, not mere builders, that brought humanity to the next phase of evolution. And now I tell you with certainty that you're devolving, that you're relying on people who don't know what they're doing. With all due respect, when you look at scientists and corporations, do you see people that God placed there to lead you into the promised land? If you do, you are crazy. They don't know what they're doing. They just keep building foolishly.